Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Sunday. Sorry for the not posting videos in the last couple of days. I actually got sick on Thursday night. I was out for basically a day and a half. I didn't get out of bed until Saturday morning to go to the doctor, get checked out. Everything's okay. I don't have a COVID. I don't have flu. I don't have strep throat. It's just a viral thing with my throat. So if I have to clear my throat, I'll try and mute the mic so you guys don't hear it. Or if I take a sip of water, I'll mute that as well, so you guys don't have to deal with it. But we got obviously a lot of news to cover. So we got Cleanspark, May production update, Riot, also Sphere 3D, DMG, and then DMG also provided their March 31st end of the quarter results. We'll take a look at all that. We'll take a look at the miners, see how they did for the end of the week. Also Bitcoin, and then at the end of the video, we'll take a look at the miners versus Bitcoin for the week, see how everybody did. And then we'll probably get into some other videos later on. Possibly do a video just to see what the miners would be, if they're profitable or not. If Bitcoin goes down to 20,000, how many are going to survive, how many are not going to survive. I think we'll get into that. And possibly look at the video also. In that video, we may also look into the news from New York, where they're possibly going to be banning mining. So we'll take a look at that possibly happening either today or tomorrow, depending how I feel. All right, so as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice. I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. So let's get into Bitcoin here first, and then we'll get into the other miners as well. So here we go. Bitcoin right now on Sunday is at 29,974. It is, obviously, we're looking at the 1 hour chart here. If we look at the weekly chart, whoa, that looks pretty off. There we go. It looks like we may actually have our first final green week. Obviously, we still have a couple more hours to go before the day is over with. We close out the week here, but it looks like we may actually be in the green for the first time. Obviously, we've had 9 weeks in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 9 weeks in red. So let's get into it here. So on the daily chart, we're kind of flattening out here as far as what's going on with Bitcoin. It's kind of trading around the 30,000 mark here the last couple of days. We've obviously tried to reach this 32,750, which is our resistance right now. Like I said, we possibly could do that. In a previous video, I think on Wednesday's video, the last video I posted, I said we may try to go up, and then we're obviously coming back down. And looking like it, I think we're still possibly going to be going down more as time goes on. Looking at the 1 hour chart, the RSI is pretty high right now. And looking at it back here, we were higher on the price where we are right now with the same RSI. So that leads me to believe price has been going down, RSI is flat, leading me to believe we're going to be going down in price on our Bitcoin. Ethereum obviously is going to be following suit with Bitcoin. Same thing here. We can see RSI is obviously a little bit higher here even than it was prior to where Bitcoin was. So same thing's probably going to happen with that one. We'll just have to monitor and see what happens this week. All right, let's take a look at the miners here really quick, and then we'll get into the news. So Annie finished out the week at $1.03. It was down 2.83 on Friday. It was up a little bit in the after hours to $1.04. Argo Blockchain was down 6.56% to 57 cents on Friday. Digital was down 4.65% to $1.64, up a little bit in the after hours to $1.66. Bitfarms was down 1.02% to $1.94, down a little bit more in the after hours to $1.91. Cleanspark was down 4.79% to $5.57, down a little bit more in the after hours to $5.50. Core Scientific was down 8.55% to $2.78, up a little bit in the after hours to $2.83. Digihost was flat at $1.79. DMG was down 6.35% to 29 cents. Hive Blockchain was up 1.44% to $4.24, up a little bit in the after hours to $4.30. Hut 8 was down 3.35% to $2.31, up a little bit in the after hours to $2.33. Iris Energy was down 9.4% to $5.40, and up quite a bit in the after hours to $5.80. Luxxfolio was down 2.94% to 16.5 cents. Marathon was down 5.78% to $8.80, down another 1.36% in the after hours to $8.68. Mawson was down 5.86% to $1.09, and nothing in the after hours. Riot was down 9.61% to $6.21 on Friday, up a little bit in the after hours to $6.27. And Stronghold was down 3.26% to $2.97, up, or actually down a little bit more in the after hours to $2.88. All right, so obviously a mixed bag here on the miners for the most part. Most of them were down, some were up on the day on Friday. All right, let's take a look at our stories here. So Cleanspark announces May 2022 production update. And here's the nitty-gritty of it. So May monthly production was 312 Bitcoins. Calendar year-to-date production ending May 31st was 1,523. So a nice run by Cleanspark here. Total BTC holdings as of May was 550. And total BTC converted for the operations and growth in May was 210, so they obviously sold. And currently deployed fleet of over 25,000 latest generation miners, mine with a hash rate of 2.5 exahash. So they've obviously done a pretty good job over the past year and a half or so, mining and increasing their hash rate as we go. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and then we'll get into the others. So Cleanspark. Let's see if I have this updated here correctly. Yep, 550. Okay. So looking at the numbers here, month by month, they were down a little bit in May compared to April. So April, they mined 313, May 312, obviously. So they're down one, down less than 3.32% on the month. Also, institutions-wise, I just checked it on, it should have been today, 6/5. Institutions is down to 110 institutions, but shares is also down to 12.35 million, and percent owned is 29.91%, which is kind of to be expected, as obviously the market is going down and everything else. Hold on, let me take a sip of water here and cough. Okay, sorry about that. Nothing else has changed as far as one strong, one buy rating. Analyst targets is still $30 for the high, average is 23, and the low is 16 for them. And they are at the end of May here, April, May. Looking at the numbers, we did install these miners here, the 100 terahash miners, about 1,000 of those to get them up to the 2.5 exahash that they reported. The only reason, I can't think of a reason why they were actually down in production for the month. We got them at 9.9, and then here we got them at 9.92, so we're right there. I mean, that was a pretty good increase on the hash rate itself. If we look at it here, let's see here, April, May, so they obviously increased 1,000 miners. Hash rate was an increase of 100 petahash, so I don't know if that was enough to obviously, percentage-wise, if that was enough to combat the price decrease and the hash rate increase, obviously, that we've seen from April. So that could be the reason for it, why they were basically, for the most part, flat as far as Bitcoin production was concerned. What else can I show you guys here? So based on the numbers that we have here, we obviously have them mining at, sorry, where was it? 9.9 million for the month of May. We had them at 11.7 million for April. And June right now is looking to be about 9.1, depending on the price of Bitcoin, where it's at, where it ends up at, and everything else going for it. So looking at the price, obviously it's at 557 right now. Shares outstanding is about 41 million.2. Market cap is around 229 million. Using the price earnings multiple of 20 with 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at a stock price of possibly 46. That's using the 20 multiple right now. Based on where they are with the share price, I mean, they're obviously way under the 5. They're like trading at 2 or something like that. So like I said, for the most part, all of these miners are way undervalued right now. There's nothing else here that I can really point to. 550 is their HODL, 16.3 million BTC value roughly right now. So HODL to market cap is 7% on it. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's concerning with Cleanspark. They're doing really good right now. They're obviously growing monthly, which is nice to see. as far as their hash rate is concerned. So, we'll just have to obviously see how Bitcoin performs. And I think once Bitcoin starts going up, I think all these miners are going to be going up as well. So, like I said, they're all way undervalued. So I'm just buying when I can. Probably going to be looking to pick up some more this week if possible, if they slide a little bit more in price. Otherwise, maybe hold off. But you just never know when the bottom's going to be. So I'll probably pick up a little bit more this week of them. All right. So that's Cleanspark. Let's get into Riot Blockchain here. So Riot announces May 2022 production update for May. Here is a picture of their, obviously, Winston facility. Their hash rate capacity growth updated from May. So there's something we need to talk about here that we'll get into here in a little bit. But here's their details. So in May 2022, Riot produced 466 BTC, an increase of approximately 104% as compared to May 2021. Production of 228 BTC, so obviously nice, very nice growth year over year. As of May 31, Riot held approximately 6,536 BTC, all produced by the company's self-mining operations. In May 2022, Riot sold 250 Bitcoin, generating net proceeds of approximately $7.5 million. And we're obviously seeing a lot more of these miners starting to sell some of their coins that they mine to fund operations as the price has been coming down on Bitcoin and everything else. It's getting a little bit harder for them to possibly get loans and everything. And makes a little sense for them to do that as not to dilute shareholder value. Also, Riot currently has a deployed fleet of approximately 43,458 miners with a hash rate capacity of 4.6 exahash. And here's a quote from the CEO. We're proud to report that our first immersion building, Building F, is filled with approximately 23,000 S19 series miners. Approximately 7 of those miners are staged in the immersion cooling tanks and are anticipated to be deployed pending installation of the final requisite components. Once these miners and other staged miners are fully deployed, our hash rate capacity is expected to increase to 5.4 exahash. So that might happen this month in June. We'll have to see if that happens. And then here's something else. So additionally, we are initiating a project to refurbish our fleet of S17 Pro Antminers to improve their overall hash rate and efficiency. So this would be a good thing here, but then here's a little bit of contradiction. So these enhancements are made possible by the improved operating environment facilitated by our immersion cooling technology. While undergoing the refurbishing process, our fully depreciated fleet of 4,000 S17 Pro miners will be temporarily decommissioned. Okay, so they're not going to be used, which is understandable. And then here's the thing that's kind of confusing. These 4,000 miners will no longer be counted in our deployed fleet figure, and their corresponding 225 petahash of hash rate will no longer be counted in our hash rate capacity figure. Okay, so I'm a little confused by that. Why aren't you not counting those in there if they're going to be refurbished? Are you basically refurbishing them and selling them to somebody? And you're providing it to basically your hosting part of it? If that's the case, that would be nice to know. But right now, I had to take them out, obviously, because they aren't going to be including them in it. So we'll get into the numbers here, and I'll kind of explain how things are looking. So that was kind of interesting to note here. Kind of a little confusing. Yeah, I mean, it's just a little confusing by what they stated. And then also, let me see here. Where was it? It was down here, I believe. Yep. So estimated hash growth has been updated. So by January 23, Riot anticipates a total self-mining hash rate capacity of approximately 12.6 exahash, assuming full deployment of approximately 116,150 Antminer ASICs, but excluding any potential expected incremental productivity gains from the company's utilization of 200 megawatts of immersion cooling infrastructure, which is approximately 50% complete. So there's our latest update. We did have them at like 12.7 or something like that. Obviously, getting rid of the 4,000 miners, 225 petahash, brought them down. So let's take a look at what we have here for them, and we'll get into it. So that was Riot. Let's see, Riot's right here. Okay, so the ones that they're talking about as far as the 4,000, those are these miners here, the 61.7 terahash miners. So those are obviously one of the least efficient here that they have in the list, which I'm fine with them getting rid of, but I wish they would have worded it better as far as what they're going to be doing with them, whether they're going to be setting up for the hosting side. So what I've done is I've excluded them from my tally here at the end here. So I'm only counting from here all the way down. for the number of miners, and I'm only off by 10 here, so I'm possibly off someplace over here. I'm guessing I might be off by 10 somewhere. Hash rate, we're pretty close to that at the 12.6. I have a 12.625, which might be, I don't know if maybe these here are not actually the 110, maybe 105 or 100 terahash miners, the ones over here. But for the most part, everything kind of matches up. I did have to change these miners here. I had them from 100 terahash to 90 terahash to kind of coincide with what they're reporting as far as having the number of miners and what their total hash rate is going to be. So that got updated. So you guys are aware of that. That got changed. And then let's take a look at their actually monthly production here. So in May, they produced 466 Bitcoins. And April, they produced 508. So that's obviously a decrease of 42 or a decrease of 8.27% month over month, which isn't good. Institution-wise, they decreased by 3. So 322 institutions are now invested in them with 444.38 million shares. And obviously percent owned went down to 34.96. I'm guessing that there was some share dilution that happened, and that's why that has come down, even though shares have come up. On that one, we still have, we did get a change. So we went from a strong buy 3 to a strong buy 2. Buy still at 7, hold is still at 1, or now is at 1. So we had one strong buy go to hold. Price target is still 50 for the high, average is 31.30, and the low is 20. So it's a little bit down from where it was on that one. And if we look at May here, let's see, where's March, April, May. So in May, I took out the miners here, the 4,061 terahash miners. I took those out for the remainder of the year. I did add in order for things to make sense, these 5,000 miners, the 110 terahash miners in here. And I also added in the 1,200 miners of the 108 here, looks like. I added those in as well to get us to the 4.6 exahash that they're stating that they're at right now. They are looking to be making about, what is that, 14.8 million for the for May. I have a 14.8 here as well, so we're right on that. And I did have to bring them down as far as how many days they were operational to 24.6 days for the most part on these miners. And we're kind of seeing a pattern here where they're not operational for the full month. I don't know if it's because they're updating their facilities, building their facilities, if they're having to shut down power for a certain amount of days to get things connected or things like that, if that's leading to obviously having less days in a full month, or if it's something having to do with Epcot in Texas where they're being asked to shut down to provide power when it's needed. But that's just kind of what we're seeing here, that they're not operating fully on all these machines here on all the days. So that's where we stand. So right now, for the quarter, it looks like ending in June, we're looking at possibly being at about 50.8 million. Sorry about that. I had to cough. Looking to be about 50.8 million for the quarter, which is obviously less than the previous quarter at 57 million. But we'll see where Bitcoin ends up in June. That's obviously going to be a telling sign for us, and what they're actually hashing in June as far as hash rate goes. So we'll see on that one. HODL obviously has been increased a little bit to 6,536. It still represents 194 million basically in BTC value, which represents 24.6% of their HODL is to market cap. And we're still looking at price for them. They're currently at 621 with the 20 price earnings multiple, and that's 75% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at a price of 2309. Seeing where they are right now, they're trading at about, from what I'm seeing, right around between 5 and 6 or so. Sorry, again, my throat is really dry. I had to take a sip. Okay, hopefully we'll get through this video before my actual voice gives out. What else can I tell you guys? Obviously undervalued like the rest of the miners are right now. The only time this is going to change is obviously if Bitcoin starts going up then we'll start seeing the reverse happen here. But right now, everybody's just way undervalued. I think that's it. Yeah, we covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover with them. And we'll go from there. All right, so let's take a look at the next one here. The next one is, also one thing I want to point it out to you. In April, they reported that they had 4.7 exahash. So they got rid of basically 225 petahash in May with those 4,000 miners, and that's why they installed the other miners as well. And that's how we got the numbers adding up. So I was a little surprised because I was looking at my numbers and I had about 4.7 in April, and then they said they were at 4.6. I'm like, how the heck did they go down in exahash? But that's what that's from. So I just want to point that out to you guys as well, if you guys are questioning it. All right, Sphere 3D. So this is going to be a pretty easy one. Nice thing here with Sphere is they actually provided their numbers here for Bitcoin production from January all the way up to May, which I didn't have before, which was nice of them to provide. So in January, they had 1.8 produced. February was 3.6. March was 7.1. April was 12.3. And May was 12.6. Obviously, a nice growth for them over that period of time. They have obviously just started mining this year, but having obviously pretty good growth already from where they started out at. Let's see here. All right, updates. So from May 1st through May 31st, Sphere's 3D mining operation produced 12.57 Bitcoin, or 4.1 Bitcoins daily. Production increased approximately 2% over the 12.35 coins produced in April of 2022. And let me see, what else did we have here? Deliveries, miner deliveries and petahash capacity. As of May 31st, the company was operating approximately 1,000 S19J Pro miners, delivering a production capacity of about 100 petahash. This kind of confused me a little bit. The Sphere 3D operated at 130 BTC per exahash efficiency in May. So I'm guessing they're multiplying their production to get to 1 exahash, and that's how many BTC they would produce if they were at 1 exahash, basically, I'm guessing. But that was a little strange seeing that comparison there. The company's May 2022 shipment of about 2,000 miners is currently in transit, and due to supply chain delays, is expected to arrive in mid-June. Depending on port congestion, once received, the miners will be put into production as quickly as possible. All miners may not be operational during the month as received, so we'll have to see how they obviously progress in June. And then the other part that's kind of important here, the New Miner Global Inc. has not yet delivered the pre-production miners as set forth in its agreement with the company. The 30-day testing period expires on June 30th, 2022, at which time Sphere 3D will have the option of canceling its contract with New Miner without penalty. So there's two ways that this could go. Obviously, if they do get the miners, then that would be great for them, because then they could possibly get to the 32 exahash they want to get to. So I think that's kind of what the price is right now, in the stock price at least, is reflecting that possibility. If they don't get the miners in for testing, they cancel the deal, I think the stock price is going to go down quite a bit. So something to be mindful of here, but we'll get into the numbers here. All right, so having received all the updates for the production for Sphere 3D, I was able to figure out what they were basically making each month. So January they made about 70,000, February was 155,000, March was about 323,000, April 463,000, May was about 400,000. So obviously nice ramp up for them from the beginning of the year, getting to where they are right now. So we got the numbers for that. So that I obviously updated my numbers for them as well. Let's see here. What do we have here for them? May. So we still have only the 1,000 miners, 100 petahash, which is what we have them at right now. And then as far as analyst ratings, so they did go down a little bit to 46 institutions, 7.65 million shares. It's now 11.86% owned. We still have basically the same buy ratings and price targets here on them. But it obviously did update the pricing that we have as far as what they're going to be making. So for the first quarter, it looks like they made about 544,000. Actual reported, they're saying 7 million. I'll have to double check that. Or 700,000. We'll have to see how they're calculating that. It might be that they're calculating the Bitcoin either daily or weekly, which would obviously give them possibly a little bit higher amount here. So right now we have them at 7,000. Let me see, or 700,000. Does that get us to 700,000? January, February, March. I got them at 548,000 on it, based on what they produced in Bitcoin. But like I said, they could be counting it differently than just the end of the month. They could be counting it weekly or daily even, and getting obviously a higher amount here. So we only have them obviously with the 700,000 right now, and then basically we're kind of estimating as far as what they could be making towards the end of the year based on what they currently have installed, and we're only at about 4 million or so. So that would get us to about, at the end of the year, at 94 cents with a 20 price to earnings multiple. Currently on what they're making, I'm estimating at 75% net income. They should be about 16 cents. They're at $1.03. I think they're at $1.03 because of the possibility of these miners, the 440 terahash miners, being a reality. And that's something that's appealing to investors. So we'll have to see if that actually does happen or not. If it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised if obviously the stock goes way down from where it is right now to kind of match up with what the reality is. Even if they don't get these miners, they're still going to be at approximately, was it 6 exahash? Yeah, 6 exahash, just with the ANT miners that they are going to be receiving, the 100 terahash miners, which they're supposed to get 60,000 of those. So that would still put them in range for the middle tier miners that I cover, basically. So that wouldn't be too bad either. But right now they're just overvalued based on what I'm seeing. But obviously for future hash growth, I could see why it's $1.03 right now. And I think that is it for them. Obviously, BTC HODL is 37, so that's 1 million. So that's basically 1.66% of their HODL position is in their market cap. And that's it. So far, good growth for them. We'll obviously see next month if they actually got any miners for testing or if they report anything. But we'll see. It was questionable when it was reported that these miners are going to be actual. The technology is there for them. It's just whether or not the big players in the system for making the chips, Taiwanese Semiconductor, whether they would do the chips. They have the capabilities, obviously, to do the 3 nanometer chips, and then some of the other players in there that would build the machines and everything else. So we'll have to see. We got 20 some odd days to we'll get the news that we want to hit. I can't speak. We got 20 more days and we'll get the news one way or another. All right, so great month for them. As long as they keep it up, I think they're going to be doing okay. All right, finally, we got DMG here. So DMG provided their April and May updates. They did provide their April updates via their Twitter, I believe, account. So I already had the numbers for that. We're just going to go over the May numbers. And here we go. So mined Bitcoin of April was 88.1. May is 48.3. Total of 136.4 Bitcoins. Hash rate reached 625 petahash, 0.63 exahash per second. Miners added was 129. And I believe that the reason that they dropped almost half of BTC production was because the power plant in Niagara Falls, I think. Something happened with one of the power units. I can't remember which one it was, but they had a fire there. So obviously that has restricted them to be able to mine Bitcoin because they're not getting power to it. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're down half from where they are. But correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's the case. I remember reading something about it. So I think that's why. Let's get into the numbers here. And let's see if there's anything else I want to talk to you about. Nope, that's it. Okay. So DMG. So DMG, obviously 88.07 in April, 48.3 in May. Huge decrease, obviously about 45% from where they were. 39, almost 40 Bitcoins less than last month. Obviously value had dropped greatly from that, so it's 1.5 million roughly using the end of May numbers for Bitcoin. Institutions also went up a little bit. to 11, but shares went down to 3.2 million, so a slight decrease there. And percent owned also went down a little bit to 1.93. We still have the same buy ratings, and price targets are pretty much the same at $1.59 across the board here. I think I had $1.56 here. I don't know if that was just my typo or if that was actually $1.56 there. Either way, it's pretty close to where they were. For May, we did end up adding, I ended up adding a little bit more, 250 miners to get them to the 625 petahash that they reported. Just for disclosure there. And I did have mining basically for 15 days in May because of the power plant issues that they had. That's the only reason why. To get them to the 1.5 million in USD for the month. And what else do we have here? So right now we're looking at the stock price being, where's the stock price at? 30 cents right now. That would take them down to, like a 2 PE right now, based on 75% income from gross revenue. Yeah, it's like a 2 PE. I think they're undervalued. I know they're a small miner, but they are still making money. And we'll get into their quarterly results here. They're actually profitable, which is good. And I would think that they would be a little bit higher, but Bitcoin is where it's at. It's, down. So everybody's down. Everybody's undervalued for the most part here. BTC HODL is 372, and this was updated from their, we'll get into that obviously in the report here. So when we do that, let's get into the report here and we'll call it a day. And we'll take a look at the miners versus Bitcoin. So DMG Blockchain Solutions posts Q2 revenue of 11.9 million, up 377% year over year, which is great, and announces quarterly financial results and corporate update on June 3rd. So here's the details. So highlights: increased quarterly revenue to 11.9 million, up 377%. Increased EPS to 3 cents per share for the 6 months ending March 31st, up from 0.01 loss per share for the same period a year ago. Don't know what it would be for the 3 months though, whether they were up or down. 372 BTC held as of March 31st. Strong balance sheet of 125 million total assets as of March. If we look at their market cap here, market cap is 49 million, way undervalued. Hash rate increased to 595 petahashes on March 31st, and that was it here. That was interesting, parts of it. So let's take a look at what numbers I had for them. It's obviously 372 Bitcoin's HODL is 11 million, so that's 22% of their market cap. At 49, obviously they have a lot more in assets. That's why I say a lot of these guys are way undervalued by the investors. And I had them at 8.69 million. They came in at 9.4, which was a difference of 8.69%. I was off. And the only way I can think of that is if they're, excuse me, if they're actually counting the Bitcoin price either daily or weekly. That would obviously offset it, where I'm counting it just on the monthly part, but still not too far off. I'd rather be low on the price than high, so it's always nice to get a little surprise on the high price. Sorry, I had to take a sip. So for June, we're looking at about 7.4. Obviously, they could beat that again, depending if they get the power reconnected in June in the Niagara Falls area. But yeah, they could be close to 8 million if something like that happens. Or if they're still, not mining in June, well, then that would cut this amount by half about. So we're looking possibly at 1.6 million. So that would take us down to about 5 million something here for the revenue for the quarter, which wouldn't be good. Obviously, they are planning to get some compensation, I guess, from the electric company. We'll see if they're going to be able to recoup that or not. But that is the plan, obviously. Okay. I think that is it. Like I said, way undervalued. I think they should be a little bit higher, even at the 5 PE, 72 cents, if not a little bit higher, on like 6 or 7, to be $1 or something, would seem a little bit more fair to me. All right. So hopefully they get that resolved with the power, and they should be back on track. They still have a little bit of ways to go to their future hash rate of 1 exahash from the current 625 petahash. and hopefully they'll provide some kind of information as far as getting more miners, buying more miners, something like that, to grow their hash rate even more in the coming months. But we'll see. Okay, so that was it. So that was a lot. My throat's starting to kill me now. So we'll go through the miners for the weekly here really quick, and I think I'm going to call it a day before I screw up my voice even more. Sorry. Okay. So miners for the weekly here. Look at we see Bitcoin was actually up on the week. It was up about 3.76% to 29,704. So it was up about 1,000 from the prior week. Argo was up 5.77%, up 3 cents. Digihost was down $1.65. Luxxfolio was up $5.94. Mawson was down 1.42%. DMG was down 2.61. Sphere was down 1.9. Cleanspark was down 5.43. Bitfarms was actually up 5.43. Well, Digital was even. Hive was up 11.81. Hut 8 was down 8.33. Core was down 24.66. Riot was down 14.23. Marathon was down 14.31. Iris was down 6.41, and Stronghold was down 0.67 compared to it. So let's do this descending. And let's look at it on the weekly chart here. Sorry. Obviously, the winner for the week was Hive, 11.81%, followed by Luxxfolio, Argo, Bitfarms, and Bitcoin. Sorry for that space and time there. I had to clear my throat. Obviously, everybody else did here worse. Core Scientific obviously down 24.6%, did the worst on the weekly here. Going to the 4-week really quick, we can see that Stronghold is up 31% from 4 weeks ago. Digihost is up 27, Luxxfolio is up 23, DMG is up 3, Bitcoin is up 1.44, and Argo is up 0.83. And then obviously the losers here is Core Scientific again, 34, followed by Iris, Marathon, Riot, Mawson, Hut 8, Cleanspark, Digital, Bitfarms, and Hive. And then going to the 8-week. Let's see here. On the 8 weeks, everybody's down. Core Scientific is down the most at 63, followed by Marathon, Riot, Iris, Mawson, Hive, Hut 8. Bitcoin is down 26%, so everybody here is pretty much double, or at least 1.5x of what Bitcoin is down, which kind of, we're seeing that happen over and over. And then on the 12-week, we can see Stronghold is down 72%, Core is down 68%, Marathon is down 68%, Riot's down 68%, HUD is down 59%, Iris is down 59%, Mawson is down 56%, Hive is down 56%, Digital is down 55%, Cleanspark is 53%, Bitfarms is 50%, Sphere is 46%, Digihost 37%, Luxxfolio is 36%, Argo 32%, DMG is 32%, and Bitcoin is down 28.94%. So, all right. That is it. I'm going to finish it off here before my throat kills me completely. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like always, a lot of information. Like I said, I do apologize for not being able to post earlier these videos, but I've been just out of it. Finally starting to get better. Finally starting to feel a little bit better. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of all the numbers. Obviously, I think the numbers were pretty good for the most part. Obviously, a little concerning for DMG with their situation that they're in right now with not having the power at one of their facilities. And then we'll see also on, who was that? Sphere 3D, if they actually get the miners from Miner for testing or not. If they do, that'd be kind of cool. That would usher in a new era for Bitcoin mining with those 3 nanometer chips. But that's it. As always, spreadsheets available to my Patreon members. Thank you so much from our Patreon members for their support. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to get another video out today with my voice the way it is. But I'll try to get something out for you at least by tomorrow on the video for, the miners, see if Bitcoin goes under 20,000, which are still profitable and which could be in trouble. And then we'll also take a look at obviously the regulations from New York, which miners that could possibly affect as far as not being able to mine or what the situation is going on there. And then we'll obviously see if there's any news coming out tomorrow from any other miners for production in May. So that's it. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great week ahead. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.